Senate will come to order. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist, Anderson, Berryhill, Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, Corbett, Correa, DeLeon, DeSaulnier, Dutton, Emerson, Evans, Fuller, Gaines, Hancock, Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, LaMalfa, Leno, Ted Lieu, Carol Lieu, Lowenthal, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Rubio, Runner, Smidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Vargas, Walters, Wolk, Wright, Weiland, Yee.
The absence of a quorum having been duly noted, the Sergeant-at-Arms will please lock the doors, call the absent members. Sergeant-at-Arms, please call the absent members. Members, a quorum is present. Would the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer today by our guest chaplain, the Reverend Michael Moran of the Spiritual Life Center. After which, please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Senator Doug LaMalfa. Reverend?
Good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here on this Independence Day weekend. In 1964, poet and songwriter Bob Dylan wrote about a huge change that was taking place in the United States and the social and political core consciousness of our nation. President Kennedy had been assassinated, the Vietnam War was escalating, civil rights advocates were marching, and freedom riders were being called traitors by some, heroes by others, but we as the people were being forced to change during a very tumultuous time. Dylan wrote about this movement that was picking up momentum. He wrote a call to action, an anthem that was true then and is even more obvious now. Let me just read a couple of lines. Sing along if you'd like. Come gather round people wherever you roam and admit that the waters around you have grown and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you'd better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'. Come senators, congressmen, and please heed this call. Don't stand in the doorway and don't block the hall. For he that hurts is the one who is stalled. There's a battle outside and it's ragin'. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. This morning I ask blessings for you and those you serve and the wisdom as you work together to safely guide us through these changing times that are literally shaking our windows and rattling our walls. Loving Creator, we thank you for this new day, the work that is ours to do. We are grateful for our capacity to think and plan, dream and act, for our ability to make things happen that will improve the lives of those we represent. Thank you for the privilege and sacred responsibility of being makers of history. May we, the elected representatives of the people of California, be ever mindful of the needs of the less fortunate among us and the greater good for all concerned. Bless our work and those whom you serve. May God guide you along the path of harmony and justice. May you always put the welfare of the people who trust you at the heart of all of your endeavors and use your skills to build a healthy and sustainable state and world. Loving presence, help our representatives, our senators, to create and treat each other with genuine respect and seek fair and just solutions to the many problems we face. Loving God, known by many names, bless this gathering of women and men entrusted with the health and well-being of our beautiful state. Guide them and direct them each step of the way this day. Om Shanti, Salam, Shalom, peace. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Senator LaMalfa. Members, we are at privileges of the floor. And if we have no items under privileges of the floor, we will go to messages from the governor, which will be deemed read, messages from the assembly, which will be deemed read. We have reports of committees, which will be deemed read, and amendments adopted. And members, that takes us to motions and resolutions. Under motions and resolutions, without objection, the following resolution will be withdrawn from committee and placed on today's special consent calendar. That is Senate Concurrent Resolution 48. Senator Emerson, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Mr. President, members, at the request of the author, I'd like to remove file item 182, Assembly Bill 655, from the consent calendar for purposes of amendments.
At the request of the author and without objection, so ordered. Members, that takes us to the second reading file. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 921, Assembly Bill 571, 507 with amendments, 1184 with amendments, 1168 with amendments, 1288 with amendments, 818 with amendments, 656 with amendments,
Without
1307.
objection, the second reading file will be deemed read. Members, that takes us to unfinished business. Those are file items 19 through 25. Senate third reading, file items 31 through 34. And then Assembly third reading. Members, we do have items on Assembly third reading. Senator Wolk, for what purpose do you rise?
I would like to take up item 150, please. File item 150.
Members, Senator Wolk has asked that we take up file item 150. This is AB 1265. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1265 by Assembly Member Nielsen, enacting the local government and declaring the urge thereof to take effect immediately.
Senator Wolk, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, 1265 will allow the Williams-Sonat counties to
Senator Wolk, one moment, please. Please proceed.
1265 will allow Williams-Sonat counties to recoup a portion of their foregone revenue from landowners. The Williamson Act allows farmers to pay property taxes based on the land's agricultural income rather than the full market or development value. We know that the state has eliminated the subvention programs to the subvention payments to counties participating in the program currently. Last year we passed a measure to help counties cope with this lost revenue while we sought a permanent fix. The 8 important farm counties who voted to implement the new modified Williamson Act program in 2011 expended a lot of money and political capital to put the program into place. The subsequent elimination of the new program created uncertainty for them and cast doubt on the future of the important program. This is an authorization of the modified program so that those counties can continue with their response to our elimination of the subsidies for the Williamson Act. Thank you. I urge and I vote.
Further debate or discussion? Members? Senator LaMalfa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to rise in strong support also. I appreciate Senator Wolk and the bipartisan effort to restore the Williamson Act and keep it viable for the state of California and what it means for open space, for ag land, and the big priority this is for rural communities and the fiber of those communities. So I appreciate this effort, and I ask your aye vote.
Further debate and discussion. Senator Berryhill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I also rise in support of this bill. Members, agriculture is the backbone, and certainly now the backbone of
Senator Berryhill, one moment, please.
Thank you.
We apparently are filled with a zestful enthusiasm for our three-day getaway weekend. One moment, please, sir.
They obviously don't understand the significance of the Williamson Act, Mr. President.
One moment, sir. Members, if we could have your attention, please. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you. Yes, members, the Williamson Act is critical if we are to keep agriculture a vibrant part of this economy. And the Nielsen bill that is up today is critical if we're to do that. So I'm rising in support, and I want to thank Senator Wolk for carrying this forward. I urge an aye vote.
Further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Wolk, you may close.
I would ask for your aye vote, and I would like to thank the staff of the Senate for the expeditious way in which they allowed this to come forward so that on the 1st, that's today, it will go into effect. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, please read.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, aye. De Leon, aye. DeSaulnier, aye. Dutton, Emerson, aye. Evans, Fuller, Gaines, aye. Hancock, Harmon, aye. Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, LaMalfa, aye. Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, Carol Lieu, Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod, aye. Padilla, aye. Pavley, aye. Price, aye. Rubio, aye. Runner, Smidian,
Aye.
aye. Steinberg, aye. Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, aye. Wolk, aye. Wright, aye. Wyland, aye. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Anderson, aye. Blakesley, Calderon, Dutton, aye. Evans, Fuller, Hancock, Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, Ted Lieu, Carol Lieu, aye. Runner,
Mr. Secretary, please call the absent members.
Blakesley, Calderon, Evans, Fuller, Hancock, Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, Ted Lieu, Runner. Ted Lieu, aye.
Ayes 31, noes 0 on the urgency. Ayes 31, noes 0 on the bill. The bill is passed. Senator Wolk, for what purpose do you rise?
Immediate transmittal, may I request that to the Assembly?
Without objection, immediate transmittal, so ordered. Senator Harmon, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
File item 76, AB 1133. I'd like to take it up.
File item 76. This is AB 1133.
Correct.
Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 1133 by Assemblymember Silva, enacting to grand juries.
Mr. President, members, the core functions of a grand jury are to act as a public watchdog. They weigh criminal charges and allegations of misconduct against public officials and determine whether indictments should be returned. It is important that the public trust their decisions. Currently, there are no statutes that pertain to grand jury conflicts of interest or bias as it relates to grand jury's civil investigative function. Currently, grand juries have the discretion of setting their own policies. This bill does not try to alter that authority. AB 1133 addresses the perception of a possible conflict of interest for persons serving on the grand jury. AB 1133 would require a grand juror to abstain from participating in an investigation due to a conflict of interest arising from prior or current employment. This measure is sponsored by Orange County Board of Supervisors, has no known opposition, has received no votes in the process. I ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Fuller. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Tedlew. Aye. Carroll. Aye. Lowenthal. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Aye. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Mr. Secretary, please call the absent members.
Blakesley. Calderon. Evans. Fuller. Hancock. Hernandez. Kehoe. Leno. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Runner.
Ayes 32, noes 0. The bill is passed. Senator Liu, Ted Lieu, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to present on file item 66, please.
File item 66. Members, we are at file item 66. This is ACR 36. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 36 by Assembly Member Williams relative to Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month.
Thank you, Mr. President, members. I am pleased to present this ACR to recognize Asian Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. APIs grew from 4.3 million in 2000 to 5.5 million in 2010, representing 33.6% growth in the last decade. I hope you will join the diverse APIA populations in your district in celebrating the history and culture of the community. Respectfully request an aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Fuller. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carroll Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Aye. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye. Anderson. Aye. That's 33.
Ayes 33, noes 0. The resolution is adopted. Senator Gaines, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Yes, I'd like to bring up file item number 33, SCR 49.
File item 33. Members, we are returning to Senate third reading. File item 33. This is SCR 49. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 49 by Senator Gaines relative to the Olympic Games.
Mr. President and members, I'd like to present Senate Concurrent Resolution 49, which I've jointly authored with President Pro Tem Steinberg. This resolution would recognize the June 23, 2011 as International Olympic Day, a day that has been celebrated for the past 63 years to honor dedicated athletes who are pursuing their Olympic dreams. This resolution would also continue to encourage and appreciate the work of the California Winter Games Committee in conjunction with the Reno Tahoe Winter Games Coalition to bring the Winter Games to Lake Tahoe. Senator Steinberg and I would like to ask for your support not only to honor this day of recognition, but to support the efforts to bring back the Winter Games to our region so we might all benefit from the tremendous boost in the economy, leave a legacy of infrastructure behind us, and marvel at the achievements of the world's greatest athletes. I urge your aye vote.
Members, is there debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 33, noes 0. The resolution is adopted. Senator Gaines, you have one other item at this time?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. This is item 85, AB 315.
File item 85, members returning to Assembly, third reading. AB 315. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 315 by Assembly Member Solario, enacting to surplus line brokers and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Yes, Mr. President and members, AB 315 is a consensus measure conforming California's surplus lines insurance law to last summer's federal Dodd-Frank financial reform law. Federal law requires state conformity by July 21st, 2011, and therefore AB 315 is an urgency measure. This bill has been managed by the committee, the Insurance Committee staff of both houses so as to permit it to go straight to the governor upon its passage by our body today. The Dodd-Frank Act creates a new framework which state that the regulation of surplus lines insurance companies is subject to enactment of AB 315 by July 21st, 2011, is critical to ensure the smooth transition of California's surplus lines market to the new federal framework. Failing to meet this deadline could result in market disruption and a potential loss of business even for an admitted market. AB 315 reflects efforts of all stakeholders and has received unanimous bipartisan support. I ask for your aye vote and request that this bill be immediately transmitted to the governor.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, members, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 33, noes 0. The bill is passed. Ayes 33, noes 0 on the urgency, as well as ayes 33, noes 0. The bill is passed. Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request to bring up item 95, which is AB 208.
File item 95, AB 208. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you very much, members.
Senator, forgive me. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 208 by Assembly Member Fuentes, enacting to land use and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, members. This bill may look familiar to many of you. It would extend the expiration date of existing tentative tract maps and parcel maps for an additional 24 months. At stake on an urgent basis are about 2,500 active maps representing nearly 330,000 housing units and thousands of construction jobs that would be expiring by mid-July. The point of the bill is to have these pre-approved projects, in most cases, not have to unnecessarily re-entitle those projects, costing both time as well as precious money in a tough economy. The economy is showing signs of rebounding, as we all know, and are holding our breath. And I think as the economy is turning around, putting these projects in a position of being able to move forward much more expeditiously than they otherwise would only help further that economic rebound. It's enjoyed overwhelming bipartisan support both in the Assembly as well as in the Senate Policy Committee. I ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Members, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call on this item? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 33, noes 0 on the urgency. Ayes 33, noes 0 on the bill. The bill is passed. Senator Lowenthal, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
To take up file item 79, AB 943.
File item 79. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 943 by Assembly Member Williams, enacting to public contracts.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Assembly Bill 943 increases the informal bid threshold for local agencies which use the accounting procedures set forth in the Uniform Public Construction Cost Accounting Act, and it lengthens the term of the California Uniform Construction Accounting Commission, their chair, from 1 to 2 years. AB 943 has passed through the Assembly and the Senate Policy Committees on consent and was only amended to avoid chaptering out issues. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Members, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? Any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on this item? In the absence of any objection, ayes 33, noes 0, the bill is passed. Members, are there other items that members wish to take up under Assembly third reading? Any other items ready for presentation on Assembly third reading? Senator LaMalfa, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Under motions and resolutions.
Returning to motions and resolutions, members.
At the request of the author, we would like to pull the following bill from the consent calendar, which is item 180, AB 562.
That was file item
180.
180. Without
AB
objection, at the request of the author. So ordered. And members, without objection, item 27, SB 184, will be moved to the inactive file. Item 151, AB 1430, will be moved to the inactive file. Seeing and hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senator Ahlquist, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
Would this be appropriate for an adjourned memory?
At this time, please proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to ask you to join me in adjourning the Senate today in memory of John DeQuisto.
Senator, one moment, please. Members? Our colleague is about to memorialize the passing of a
Thank you.
really quite extraordinary gentleman, and I would ask that members give their attention to Senator Ahlquist.
Thank you very much.
Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask that the Senate adjourn in memory today of a longtime friend, both for me and for Senator Simitian, in the memory of John DeQuisto, a former member of the San Jose City Council who passed away yesterday from congestive heart failure at the age of 83. To many of his colleagues in City Hall, he was Uncle Joe, a man known for his respect and care for others. But he was also a no-nonsense, hardworking former fire captain and union president who strove to improve the lives of those around him, first of those he worked alongside as a fireman, and later in his 2 terms on the city council. The son of immigrants from Palermo, Italy, John was a native of San Jose. In addition to his work with the fire department and on the city council, he was known for tending his garden on top of the old city hall roof. He called it a good stress reliever. Instead of yelling at someone, I just go pour some water on the tomatoes, he said. He is survived by his wife Shirley, his sister Ann, and children John, Gary, Susan Sinclair, and Kathleen Swift, whose husband Sam is an attorney who often represents firefighters in workman's comp and other claims. All his children are, like him, lifelong San Jose residents. He also leaves 12 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren. John was an extraordinary man who touched many lives, including mine. I ask that the Senate join me in adjourning in his memory, and may his memory be eternal. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ahlquist, and please convey the sympathies of the Senate to friends and family, as well as thanks for the many years of public service, both as a firefighter and as an elected official. Senator Steinberg, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Thank you. To adjourn in memory as well.
Please proceed,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. President. It's with great sadness we note the passing of Herb Wesson's mother, Gladys Wesson Strickland, who passed away Wednesday afternoon after a long battle with cancer. The funeral is Thursday, July 7th. And, you know, we all know our former speaker and love him and know what a family man he is. And to Herb and Fabian, we send our deepest condolences. I know they would appreciate our prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, please convey our sympathies on behalf of the Senate. Senator, further?
May?
Please.
On a happier note, we want to wish our own Arwen Chenery a very happy birthday.
There you go.
Got ya.
Thank you.
Canada Day.
Senator Berryhill, for what purpose do you rise, sir? Senator Berryhill at Senator Berryhill's desk. Please proceed, sir.
Yes, we have a father of a former leader, Dave Cogdill, that passed away here this last week. Ellis Cogdill Jr. Ellis was born in Stanberry, Missouri, and enlisted in the U.S. Navy at age 17, serving as a radio man in the Korean conflict. He moved to San Bernardino, California in 1957 with his wife, Viola, where he worked as a meat cutter for 33 years. He moved to the Central Valley after retirement and always was involved in the community, including serving as a deacon in the Emmanuel Baptist Church. He loved to travel, spend time with his family and friends, just like his son Dave, and help those in need. Those who knew Ellis knew his word was his bond, as good as gold. Survived by his wife, Viola, sons Dave and Jim, daughter Diana, daughters-in-law Stephanie and Lisa, 10 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. And we'll be thinking about the family and adjourning his memory. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Berryhill, if you could be sure to bring the name forward to the desk so that we can ensure that Mr. Cogdill's properly memorialized. And Senator Cannella on this item, I believe.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I also rise in memory of Ellis Cogdill. As many of you know, Senator Cogdill always referred to his dad as his hero. Those who had the honor of knowing Ellis knew he was a man of his word and a man with a heart of gold. Particularly as we prepare to celebrate the July 4th holiday, I hope we never forget people like Ellis who served our country with honor and dignity. We can all strive to have the same love and dedication to our families and our communities as he had. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Cogdill family.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Strickland, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Under motions and resolutions.
Under motions and resolutions.
Colleagues, please join me in wishing our colleagues. Tomorrow is his 39th birthday, Doug LaMalfa. Let's give him a round of applause. Say happy birthday.
Senator Padilla, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
I know Senator Steinberg already adjourned in memory of Gladys Wesson Strickland, but I wanted to add just a couple of words as well, considering Herb a friend, not just a colleague. All I can say is now we know where he gets it from. His mother was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1931 and came to Los Angeles in 1974 and probably set the example for Herb to pursue a career in public service, not just being there every step of the way in every one of his campaigns, probably his most loyal and hardworking volunteer, but having worked as a den mother for the Boy Scouts, a block club captain in the community, really carrying the water a lot for the New Frontier Democratic Club, one of the historic Democratic clubs and still one of the most important Democratic clubs in Los Angeles. Those who knew her know that she had a passion for the outdoors as well. And I think it's remarkable and demonstrates her stick-to-itiveness, that she was a breast cancer survivor, not once, but twice. She leaves behind 6 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren, and asks that we adjourn in her memory.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. Senator Pavley, for what purpose do you rise?
On a humorous note, point of privilege.
Please proceed.
On a humorous note, on behalf of the 75,000 Californians who bought those first-generation hybrids, we'd like to note the passing of the HOV lane decal program. This will be the first day that they will be out of the carpool lanes and with everyone else.
Thank you, Senator. We look forward to you joining us in the slow lane. Senator Cannella.
Adjourn in memory.
Please proceed, Senator.
I rise to adjourn in memory of Daniel Webb, who passed away on June 19th at the age of 49. Dan was raised in Kingsburg, California. His lifelong love of the mountains led him to his first career as a park ranger with the U.S. Forest Service before his political interests led him to work for former Congressman Richard Lehman in the San Joaquin Valley. Dan then joined former State Senator Jim Costa as his district director before moving to Sacramento as a consultant for the Senate Agriculture and Water Committee. Former Governor Gray Davis appointed Dan as Deputy Secretary of the California Department of Food and Agriculture. He later moved on to service in the third house. Dan will be remembered for his wit, dry sense of humor, love of helping others, his generosity, and his humility. He loved his family and is survived by 3 sisters and 3 brothers, 5 nephews, and 1 niece. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Webb family.
Thank you, Senator, and please convey the sympathies of the Senate to the friends and family. Members, if there are no other items under motions and resolutions, we will move to the consent calendar. Members, we are moving to the consent calendar. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 713, 1082, 483, 182, 1412, 912, 966, 1269.
Without objection, deemed read. Members, is there any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call on the consent calendar, file items 152 through 183, and the special consent calendar, which is SCR 48, with the removal of some items previously noted? Any objection to substituting our unanimous roll call for the consent calendar and special consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 33, noes 0 on consent calendar adoption. Ayes 33, noes 0 on special consent calendar adoption. The measures are approved. Members, I believe there is no other business. Senator Steinberg? Senator Steinberg, if there is no other business, the desk is clear.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next week, of course, is policy bill deadline week for the bills in the other house. And so we will reconvene session at noon on Tuesday. I want to wish everyone a very happy Independence Day, 4th of July, members and staff alike. I think it's a much needed break. Get back to our communities and celebrate the 4th with our constituents. See you all Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Steinberg. Members, the Senate will be in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Tuesday at noon. Members, we stand in recess.